Hi, Assalamualaikum. So this video is on our topic 7 lesson, which is on accounting for financing product. Before we move any further, let us discuss what is the meaning of financing itself. So financing is like the process of providing funds for business activities, making purchases or investing. So any financial institution like banks are the business yang will provide the capitals to other businesses or maybe consumer and investors that can help them to achieve their goals. So what is generally the meaning of financing product is like when we are trying to request for a funds from third parties or maybe the banker to help us finance the product. So that is the meaning for financing product. So basically in this topic kita nak tengok how Islamic finance record ataupun the accounting in Islamic finance for financing product. So this is the topic outcome for this topic. At the end of this topic, you will be able to define the principles of the different financing product. The principle here, we will take a look at the difference of financing product in different contract. Kan kita dah belajar kan kontrak-kontrak dalam Islamic finance yang ada Murabahah, ada Mudarabah, ada salam dan and so on. So dalam topik ni kita akan juga recap back what are those contract but in relating to the financing product. So dalam topik ni juga korang will able to describe the accounting treatment and the accounting entries for the financing product, and korang boleh evaluate the differences between IOV and conventional standard, which is MASB or IASB for international standard, for all of the financing product. So basically in this topic we will take a look in this contract on financing product. So in this video maybe we will take a look on two contract, which is on Murabaha and Ijara, but we have also another 4 contract related to financing the product, which is on Mudarabah, Musyarakah, Salam and Istisna. So here is the mind map on like a flows lah, apa yang ada dalam financing contract. So like I said just now, the financing contract consists of all these 6 contracts lah. So from the 6 contract ni kita actually dah divide kan according to the contract types. So as for trading contract is include leasing, which is ijarah, and sales, which is on Murabahah, Salam and Istisna. But as for investment contract, this is related to Musyarakah and Mudarabah contract. So actually this is nothing. I just want to show you the details of the contract that we will take a look after this. So macam ni kan, macam ijarah ataupun leasing. So dalam ijarah tu nanti kita akan tengok the accounting concept or the accounting process based on the operating lease, IMBT and also ITAP. So basically these 3 is the types of leasing lah. So nanti kita akan tengok in detail in this topic. So untuk hari ni macam saya cakap, kita akan go through Murabahah and Ijarah contract sahaja. So untuk Murabahah, right, Murabahah, the definitions of Murabahah. Actually Murabahah ni kita dah belajar kan dalam topik contract kita, which is on chapter, not sure chapter 2 or chapter 3. So it's all related to the contract. So This includes in the contract lah. For Murabaha, you all know Murabahah 2 is a markup sales contract, isn't it? So let me write it here, Murabaha. As the keyword, it is a markup sales types of contract. So kiranya in Islamic finance, they will financing the product by using Murabaha, can be by using Murabaha contract. Like this is the definition. It is a sales of goods at cost plus an agreed profit markup. Its characteristic is that the seller should inform the purchaser of the price at which he purchased the product and stipulate an amount of the profit and in addition to this. Contohnya, let's recap, let's recap what is the meaning of Murabaha. Macam kita tahu, we will have the bank. Right, let's say this is the bank and one is the customer, which is the one yang need the fund, right? So let's say the customer ni need the fund from the bank, maybe need bantuan lah from the bank yang dia probably short of 5,000 ringgit to buy the product. So the bank here akan go buy the product itself, maybe at a cost price of like, I'm not sure, less than the actual funding cost yang diberi kepada customer, sebab ini adalah related to markup sales, betul. So the bank akan beli the product, let's say I'm not sure apa ni, dia beli produk patung kepada seller B at a cost price of 4,000, but then the bank ni akan give the fine to the customer at a markup price which is probably 5,000 ringgit to the customer. So this is how the customer actually going into Murabaha to finance the product, because customer ni tadi ni dia short of funds of 5,000 or probably 4,000, because they short of funds of 4,000, so dia minta bantuan banks untuk finding the product for him or herself. So this is how Murabaha work, which is on related to the markup sales lah. Saya tak nak go in depth sebab kita dah pergi, nanti mengambil masa yang lama, sebab in this chapter and the following chapter after this, kita akan tengok all accounting based method ataupun calculation. So ini hanyalah teori. Teori ni mostly kita dah belajar on chapter 1, chapter 3 all lah. Tapi yang ini starting from today, start from the following chapter after this, kita akan tengok the accounting concept, the double entry, how you calculate the profit and so on and so forth. So ini semua hanyalah teori yang sebenarnya kita dah belajar pun dekat previous chapter. So I just want to make a little recap, okay? Okay, so you here sambung, kita dah tahu what is the meaning of Murabahah secara general. So now Murabahah ni sebenarnya ada syarat-syarat dia tersendiri, which is the Islamic bank, the bank here, right? The bank here should make the cost or capital outlay known to the client. Macam kalau korang ingat lah, the bank here kena disclosekan the amount of the cost of the product to the customer. That is the first condition. And the contract should be valid, of course, and the contract should be free of usury, meaning should be free from any riba ke, gambling ke, ataupun uncertainty. So the contract between the bank and the customer here should be free from those kinds of fundamental transaction. And the Islamic bank should disclose any faults which occur after the purchase and should disclose all what is related to the faults. Of course, like I said, the bank bukan saja kena disclose the cost price, but he or they are also obliged to disclose all of the anything information regarding the financing product lah. And the Islamic bank also should disclose the terms application to the purchase price. For example, if the purchase was on credit. So dekat sini dia nak cakap the bank should disclose all information related to the cost price, related to any faults, related to any method that how they actually acquired the product to the customer. And the contract should be valid and it is free from any prohibited fundamental transaction. So that is the basic conditions under Murabaha concept. So we all know also konsep Murabaha ni ada dua type. Satu is ordinary Murabaha and another one is Murabaha to the purchases order, meaning MPO lah. Ini kalau tak silap saya, kita ada buat presentation and kawan korang ada present on these types of Murabaha. And the slide also ada dekat kawan-kawan korang punya yang kawan korang share dekat dalam group tu lah. And macam dia nak cakap, ordinary Murabaha ni is when the contract which the seller is an ordinary trader buys a commodity without relying on any prior promise to purchase or sell, or without a purchase or sell undertaking. Means that macam ni yang saya explain just now, it is based on MPO types of Murabaha, meaning MPO ni it is based on a promise types of contract lah, meaning customer ni yang minta the banks to buy the product for the customer on behalf. Tapi untuk ordinary Murabaha ni, the bank ni tak ada realize ataupun tak ada customer yang minta lah dia untuk belikan that certain product. Dia act on his own, so it is lies under ordinary Murabaha. Sebab dia cakap kat sini, after dia dah buy the product, then baru dia resell it on the Murabaha basis. Meaning the bank ni dulu akan beli the product on its own, and then if the customer minta finance atau minta help from the bank, baru the bank tu akan jual the product yang tadi dia beli awal-awal tu kepada the customer. But for MPO ni, the customer dulu datang kepada bank minta bantuan, minta finance the product. So baru the bank ni beli the product from the supplier B. Dan bila dia beli, baru dia give the product to the customer. That is the difference lah between the ordinary Murabaha and MPO types of Murabaha. So dia kata ni kat sini adalah dia punya flows of ordinary Murabaha tu. Ordinary Murabaha tu nak macam saya cakap, the bank akan beli dulu the goods, then baru dia akan enter into the contract. Then baru the customer pays the product in an installment basis. That one is on ordinary Murabaha transaction kan. And then MPO ni macam saya cakap, dia involve the sales of a commodity through a Murabaha contract to the MPO for a pre-agreed selling price. Meaning the transaction yang ada saya cakap tadi tu, dia kena include a prior promise first and a request from a customer first, baru the bank ni akan going into a contract ataupun baru dia akan beli the product to the supplier. So korang dah tengok sekarang kan, what is the difference between MPO and ordinary Murabaha. And here is actually the flows lah, macam apa yang saya cakap verbally tadi tu. So you can actually read it here. Okay, now how kat sini slide yang ni, slide kat sini. The next slide is on here. So sebenarnya Murabaha contract tu ada issues on that Murabaha contract, and this is also has been discussed in our previous chapter. The main issues in Murabaha contract is the first one is on the rebate in the event of a default, disclosure of the cost price, and the use of the interest rate as a benchmark. So probably in the Murabaha contract, dia ada isu yang mengatakan maybe the bank tadi tu tak disclose the cost price to the customer, and maybe they use the interest base as a benchmark. Maybe kalau customer tak bayar the certain amount of installment to the bank, dia akan kenakan interest rate. So that is the issues lah under Murabaha contract. And then baru kita akan tengok how to finance the product under Murabaha contract as following to the standards. Macam tadi kita nak kena tengok kan, we have to evaluate Murabaha contract financing product in terms of IOF, right? IOF and also MASB ataupun IASB lah, isn't it? So kita akan tengoklah how these two standard allocate their revenue, which is the installment tadi tu. Tu dah kira dia punya revenue lah kan. So how banks allocate their revenue, which is the installment from the customer tadi tu, as according to this two standard ni, IOF and also MASB. So kita tengok dulu as FAR618 mention or stated Murabaha and Murabaha. No, this is only ordinary Murabaha and MPO Murabaha. Dia cakap the profit of a credit sale, which is the installment tadi tu, shall be recognized by using one of the two methods. So what is the method? It is maybe proportionate allocations or when the installments are received. So according to FAS2, which is IOF standard, okay, IOF standard, they recognize the profit in two method lah. Satu, dia proportionate allocation based on the profit, right? Maybe interpret as a straight line ataupun fixed lah. Kalau straight line tu consider as fixed. So if it is fixed proportions of profit, dia sebenarnya boleh elakkan daripada interest lah. Sebab dia fixed, isn't it? So every year, every month, the customer will pay 100. It is paid a fixed amount of installment. So it is actually departure from the effective interest method. And the second method, maybe the profit will be recorded after the installment are received. So bila dia recorded on kiranya after the installment are received, it is to actually avoid or departure from the accrual basis. Means it is recorded on time lah. Dia bukan on credit, dia on time. So macam saya cakap, IOF punya standard, which is under FAS2, dia record the profit dengan dua cara. Satu, fixed allocations of profit, and another one on time lah. it is recorded when the installment are received, and it is not based on accrual basis. Okay, so that one is as according to FAS2 punya standard, but as according to FAS20, it is on the deferred payment sales. So the profit from the deferred payment sales shall be recognized on an accrual basis and proportionally allocated over the period of the contract. So this boleh tengok dah korang what is the difference between FAS2 and FAS20. FAS2 dia record the profit fixed and on time, but for FAS20 dia allocate dia punya profit on accrual basis. Can be an accrual basis, and it is proportionally allocated over the period of the contract. Meaning it is not allocated over the profit ataupun over the credit, but it is allocated over the period of contract. Meaning proportionally allocate over the period of contract tu, it is considered as the accrual basis lah. Right, korang boleh tengok FAS2 fixed and on time. FAS20 it is based on deferred payment sale, which is ada masukkan unsur-unsur accrual basis ni. And that one is in accordance to FAS20. This is the example on how actually IOFI standard and MESP standard allocate the profit. Let's say this is how they recognize and measure the income of the Murabaha home financing. So it is a Murabaha home financing types of contract. So let's say in 2001, a bank buys a house at 5,000 ringgit. Okay, I write it here. So the cost price is actually 500 ringgit, 1,000 ringgit, 500,000 ringgit, and then it sells. The bank will sell the house to the customers at selling price of 696,650. So ini memang konsep Murabaha lah kan, sebab dia markup the selling price. Betul? So now the customer pays in monthly installments over a period of 10 years. Now the customers ni are obliged to pay the house in installment basis in a period of 10 years. And from over the period of 10 years tadi tu, ni kan 2001 dia beli. So over the period, every year dia kena bayar sampai 10 tahun. Right? Sampai 10 tahun. But then in 2003, dia cakap, in 2003, the customer misses an installment but pays the amount in 2040. So let's say 2003 tadi customer tak bayar, but 2004 baru dibayar. So kita tengoklah how the bank allocate the installment ataupun the revenue from the customer punya payment tadi. So dekat dalam next slide, dia ada tunjuk how the bank allocate the profit as according to the standard. Okay, so this is actually how the bank allocate the standard based on, allocate the profit based on the standard. So, macam profit based on FAS2, macam saya cakap, kalau FAS2 mesti it is a fixed and on time, betul? So tengoklah dia kata the proportionate allocation over a period of credit means on time and fixed. So kalau the bank to allocate according to FAS2 punya standard, right? So tengoklah dia allocate fixed, in a fixed amount which is 19,000. So sampai 2010 ataupun sampai 10 tahun dia akan allocate installment of fixed installment lah. Tapi as according to FAS2 juga kan dia cakap it is recognized as when the installments are received, kan, tak ni on time. This is fixed, this is on time as according to FAS2 as well. Dia cakap when the installment are received. So here macam saya cakap dia ada fixed and on time. So let's say on 2001 tadi dia receive the installment on time lah, like 19,000. Then but actually tadi dia cakap 2003 the customer missed to pay a certain amount of installment in 2003, but dia continues to pay the installment in 2004. Macam awak tengok sekarang kan, macam tadi kata fix kan. Suddenly on 2003 tu jumlahnya lebih rendah daripada yang fixed amount tu. But then in 2004 jumlahnya semakin merendah. Sebab apa? Dia bawa lah, dia bring forward the misses amount to the following years, which is on 2004 tadi tu. Let's say tadi on 2003 dia miss about 16 something I think thousand. The miss 1,000 plus on 2003 punya installment, but then dia akan bring forward the amount yang dia short on 2003 tadi, dia bring forward to 2004, which dia akan tambah lah, there's 1,000 plus miss installment, and sebab tu dia akan jumlah installment dia bertambah on the next year tadi. So then continues lah the following year as according to the fixed installment basis. But as according to the IAS 18, this is also applicable for FAS 20, isn't it? Sebab FAS 20 macam saya cakap dia akan as according ataupun dia akan record according to the accrual basis juga. So FAS 2 ni and FAS 20 can be actually used together lah. Kira the banks tu can follow these two standards together. So when the installment is recorded on time and fixed, or when the customers misses one year of the installment, it can also be recorded on the accrual basis. But as according to IAS 18, so this is in conventional standards of accounting. This is as according to IASB, isn't it? So dia punya cara allocate dia punya installment is based on the differences between future value and the nominal amounts of the installment. So as you can see here, it is based on a future value. Means dia punya cara installment dia is based on a future value. Kalau rumah tu semakin lama diguna, so dia punya future value or the market value of that house probably semakin rendah. So as according to IASB, the installment tu is recorded based on the market value of that house ataupun the future value of that house. So if the market value of that house in 2018 is lesser than the market value of the house in 2001. So probably the installment in 2010 is much lower than the installment in 2001. Okay, korang boleh tengok lah the differences, how they allocate the installment ataupun the revenue amount tu based on the standard. This is FAS2, this is FAS2 and FAS20, this is on IASB. Okay, now kita tengok pula on, this is on the journal entry of those transaction lah kiranya on Murabaha financing contract. So this is how we allocate ataupun we record it in the journal entry. Before we go into any further, okay, we have to identify first what kind of transaction this is. Kita kena put ourselves, when we are trying to prepare the journal, kita kena put ourselves as the bank, because kita ni bank lah kan, kita nak prepare our book of account, kita nak prepare kita punya account, so kita have to put ourselves to the bank. So bila kita berjaya jual produk tu to the customer, itu adalah kita punya sales, betul? Oops, itu adalah kita punya sales. But the customer here paid to us in installment, so it is on credit lah. It is categorized as sales on credit. Betul. So bila di sales on credit, account yang akan effect is firstly is our sales, betul? Because kita berjaya jual produk itu. And then another one is kita punya debtors, which is the customer here. The customer here is consider our debtors lah. Dia adalah kita punya penghutang ataupun trade receivable. So, okay, saya tulis juga dekat sini, trade receivable. Okay. So now we have identified what kind of account yang akan effect on the transaction in the question just now. But then the sale here, like kan kita dapat 696,650, betul? So the sale here is not totally kita dapat semua. From the 600,000 here, 500,000 is the cost price, isn't it? This is the cost, which is, this is our payment just now. So when we make a payment, it is related to the cash. So cash kita time ini kita dah keluarkan lah kan. So dia berkurang lah kiranya cash kita tu. But daripada duit sales yang kita dapat ni juga, 500,000 adalah cost kita, which is kita dah buat payment to the supplier maybe by cash, so cash kita akan berkurang. And another balance amount, which is 196,650, this is our unearned income, which is unearned income ni apa tau? Ni adalah revenue kita yang kita dapat in advance. Ini adalah revenue in advance kita, which is, this is our current liability. Sebab apa? The product yang customer tu beli daripada kita tu belum habis bayar tau. Meaning that kita punya service towards the product, kita still own the product. So it is kita still responsible towards the product. Kita still have the obligations towards the product sebab customer belum habis bayar. So kita consider ataupun assume that the unearned income tu is kita punya current liability. So let's say kat sini kita dah ada 3 accounting ataupun account yang akan effect on the sales on credit tadi, which is debtors, trade receivable here. Saya highlight lah, nampak sikit kan. Oh, okay, debtors, trade receivable, the unearned income, current liability, and our cash here, asset. Okay, so now bila kita dah berjaya identify the punya transaction, now I have a little like tips ataupun formula before you actually record this account yang effect in the journal. Saya ada tulis dia punya formula here. So formula dia macam mana? First kan kita dah identify kan what kind of asset ataupun accounting element yang effect in the transaction. So saya ada buatlah satu formula. Let's see kalau the formula ni based on the accounting equation yang sebenarnya korang dah belajar on korang punya semester 1, but tak apalah, korang boleh gunakan juga kan. Let's say lah, asset plus with expenses, if both of the accounting element here, both of the accounting element here increase, kita akan debitkan dia. And if asset and expenses ni, let's say dia decrease, kita akan creditkan dia. And kalau OE, liability, equity, liability and revenue increase, kita akan creditkan dia. But if dia decrease, kita akan debitkan dia. So, daripada formula ni, jom kita terus buat dia punya journal entry. So, the first journal entry here, we have to record the sales. Betul macam saya cakap tadi, lepas kita identify, kita tahu it is a sales on credit. So, kita have to record the sales on credit ni tadi dalam kita punya book of journal. The cash here, right? And our unearned income. So, bila terjadinya sales on credit, sales kita yang effect adalah kita punya cash asset berkurang, which is sebab 500,000 is the payment, isn't it? The cost yang kita pay to the supplier. So, cash asset kita berkurang sebab kita bayar. And kita dapat unearned income, but unearned income tu is kita punya current liability. So liability kita here meningkat, which is 196,000. Meningkat sebab apa? This is our new amounts yang recorded after kita berjaya jual kepada new debtors. So here kita punya liability kita meningkat lah. Right? And another one is the debtors. So debtors here is our asset ataupun customer kita. So bila customer baru buat sales on credit kepada kita, so the customer punya account, which is the debtors, akan also meningkat. So debtors is our asset, right? So dia pun meningkat. So we all know dah ada dah punya accounting effect. Mana satu meningkat, mana satu menurun kan? So now from this accounting effect, kita masukkan di dalam journal. Okay, first thing first, the debtors asset meningkat, kita kena debitkan dia. Betul? Asset meningkat, kita kena debitkan dia dalam formula C. Debit kan, meningkat, debit. So, nak tulis apa? Okay, kita macam ni. Nak tulis apa? Kita tulis macam ni. First, ni kita nak record the sales. Right, saya buat warna lain lah so that korang boleh bezakan. Okay, let's say sales, kita nak record sales dulu. So, the debtors here, asset meningkat, kita debitkan. Say, debit, kita nak tulis receivables, but as according to Islamic finance term, kita tulis dulu dia punya jenis kontrak. So, kita sekarang tadi kontrak Murabahah kan. So, Murabahah receivable lah. So it is still trade receivable, but buang trade tu ganti kepada Murabahah and receivables. Debit, which is this represent the customer lah, the contract customers. Then kena credit, leave out the amount first sebab nanti korang akan confuse. Kita tulis dulu dia punya nama account yang affected dalam debit and credit. So debit apa? Credit apa? Cash asset berkurang tadi sebab kita dah bayar the cost price, isn't it? So asset berkurang, tengok Tengok dalam formula, aset berkurang, kita akan kreditkan dia. So, nak masuk belah kredit ni apa? Account cash lah. So, tulislah cash berkurang belah kredit. Jangan tulis amount dulu sebab later you all will be confused. So, leave it the amount first. So, korang tahu ini adalah debit kredit kan. So, ni debit, ini credit side. Okay. And then ada lagi kan saya cakap ada 3 accounting effect. Murabaha, receivable dan cash, dan now another one is unearned income. So unearned income is kita punya liability. Time ni liability kita meningkat. Bila liability kita meningkat, tengok dekat formula, liability meningkat, kita kreditkan dia. So dalam journal kita kreditkan lah kita punya unearned income ni. So kreditkan, tulis itu unearned income. Now baru kita masukkan amount dekat debit credit side here. So let I see the receivables. Murabaha receivable here, of course dia punya total sales. Kita berjual kepada customer kena bayar kepada kita is kita dapat amount from the customer is the total selling price. And kita bayar cash ni tadi, the cost price is 500,000 ringgit. And we got the unearned income is 196,650. Mesti korang tahu kan, debit credit mesti kena balance kan. So korang kena balance kan lah both debit side and credit side here. So when you plus these two amount, you will get 696,650. Okay, korang dah belajar kan, korang tahu kan. These are basic steps. So, settle nak record sales on credit punya transaction. But, kita tak habis lagi record transaction ni sebenarnya sebab ini baru kita record sales masa mula-mula dia terjual. Tapi, kita kena record juga dia punya installment amount yang kita dapat from the customer. Kan tadi kita baru the first step kita record the sales. Second step kita kena record the customer's installment payment, means kita receive the payment from the customer. So the next steps of journal is this one lah. Is we have to record the receipt of the payment from the customer. So how we want to record the receive payment from the customer? It is, let's say I wrote it here. When the customer paid customer paid cash to the bank, right? Ni customer. Okay. They paid cash to the bank. So, bank akan receive cash. Betul? Bila bank receive cash, so the cash account of the bank akan increase. But, disebabkan dia ni dah bayar hutang, which is this is our receivable, dia dah bayar hutang dia. Jadi, account dia sekarang akan berkurang. Betul? Berkurang. Account dia berkurang. So, sebab tu dekat sini, credit side is Murabaha receivable because receivable ataupun Murabaha receivable is kita punya asset. Betul? Bila asset kita berkurang, tengok formula, asset berkurang, dia akan masuk belah credit. So, creditkanlah kita punya receivable amount and kita kena debitkan cash because kita receive the cash from the customers here. So, asset meningkat, tengok formula, asset meningkat, kita debitkan. So, that's why cash debit here. So, this is when we are trying to record the payment received by the customer. Kan? So, macam saya cakap, whenever we have a transaction, bila ada dalam soalan lah, the first thing that you have to do is we have to record the sales on credit first. Lepas tu, second step, baru kita record dia punya payment received from the customer. Now, bila at the end of the day, ataupun at the end of the accounting period, kita kena close the accounts in our this one, profit and loss account, which is this is our SOCI, profit and loss account. Betul kan? This is our SOCI. Yes. So bila at the end of the day kita kena close the account, so meaning kita kena record this transaction, sorry tak nampak, this transaction at the end ataupun every accounting period, at the end of every accounting period. So we have to record this last journal lah. How you want to record it? Because this one is a liability, isn't it? Unearned income is the liability, so you have to debit balik, which is tolak balik account unearned income, because customer kita tadi dah bayar kan the amount of cash ataupun dia punya installment tadi tu. Bila dia bayar, account unearned kita berkurang lah. Ni tadi, this one kan, 196,650 ni, meaning the customer bayar secara installment, setiap bulan dia bayar. So jumlah yang dalam dalam account unearned income ni akan semakin berkurang. So bila dia semakin berkurang, unearned income kan liability kita. Bila liability berkurang, kita debitkan dia. That's why we have to debit unearned income and credit kan SOCI, because like I said just now, this is last recording process to close kita punya account at the end of the day. Means nanti dalam SOCI kita kena record unearned income ni dalam bawah liability lah kiranya. So unearned income ni amount dia berapa? Amount dia is what's left dalam account yang belum dibayar daripada trade receivable ataupun customer kita lah. So settles on the journal entry to record contoh transaction, contoh soalan dalam slides ni lah. So the step is here. The first one is sales on credit, record sales on credit. Second one, record the payment received by the customer. The third one, we have to close the unearned account in SOCI. This is the formula. Okay, now settle on the journal entry on Murabaha. Kita kena tengok juga on the syariah requirements on penalty charge. Penalty charge ni akan dikenakan bila customer lambat bayar dia punya installment amount. So let's say it is permissible to charge the penalty to the customer, but it is as according to the syariah requirement lah. Tak boleh suka-suka kenakan penalty. Apa dia punya requirement? It is the first one, it is can be imposed on the minimum amount, meaning awak tak boleh kenakan penalty yang banyak lah kiranya. Hanya minimum amount saja yang awak boleh kenakan. For example, only 1% per annum on payment in arrears and cannot be compounded. So if it is said 1% per annum of the installment, so it is only fixed to 1% and it is cannot be compounded. Sebab dia kata per annum mean setiap tahun hanya kenakan 1%. Tak boleh dalam setahun tu awak kenakan 2 kali penalty. Kan dia cakap situ, cannot be compounded. So you cannot double the penalty charge. And then the maximum amount of the penalty cannot exceed total amounts of the remainder balance. So like I said just now, we have to charge to the customer at the minimum amount of penalty, and it cannot be maximum. Let's say lah the bank are not going to charge at the minimum amount, but dia want to charge at other amount lah, but syariah requirement said boleh, tapi it is must not exceed the total amount of the remainder balance. If the remainder balance is 100,000, so the penalty cannot be exceed 100,000 itu. Okay, and dia cakap even though the bank here can charge the penalty, right? So duit penalty bank dapat lah. Tapi according to Syariah, the penalty gain obtained from the bank tu must be distribute according to the normal profit ataupun dia distribute as the charity. So meaning dia punya total amount of the penalty, the bank can distribute it among the normal profit distributions, ataupun dia boleh sedekahkan ataupun buat dia punya penalty charge atau amount to the charity. So this is basically the requirement if the bank want to charge penalty to the customer yang buat late payment on the installment. Done on Murabaha, Murabaha contract. Okay, next